Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates for only like $5 a month. Also check out the third wave of the third wave merchandise, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So yesterday we talked about the 1 hour chart and I had something on the chart. I had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 set up on the chart. And well, the first wave right here could finally be in. Now, the fifth wave of the first wave right here actually went, way higher than we actually wanted it to. And that's not really a bad thing, but I'm not really sure about this whole structure. I mean, I don't know if it's actually in or not, so we could get another high. But at some point, I am expecting the price to go down so we can get a second wave move. And well, the support one for this is between 78.9 cents and 75.8 cents. Now, the minimum target we need to get to in order for the second wave move down to be considered at least, complete is the 0.382 support level, and that is at 78.9 cents. And maybe we get to it right now. I mean, this could easily turn into an A, B, C structure, and that's all we need for a second wave down. I have to mention that on the 4-hour chart, as you can see right here on the RSI, we got rejected by the, trend line that I had on the chart. And well, this is normal. I mean, we had some resistance over here as well, so we'll see if we get above it or not. As you can see, we're actually bouncing off the moving average on the 4-hour, which could be a good sign, and maybe it's a sign that the high is not in already. Now, the first wave up is already too deep. Not too deep, but it already went too high in my opinion, because, well, it almost got to the, third wave high right here. And well, that's not really unusual. However, I kind of want to see a correction because, well, my minimum target for the fifth wave right here is at 93.5 cents. So we don't really need any more than that to complete the third wave right here. And honestly, yes, it could overextend, and I mentioned this multiple times. If it does overextend, we could even get to the 1618 over here or the 200% extension. But I just want to see, 5 waves up get completed. I don't really care about extensions right now, so all I want is for Cardano to keep going up, but it needs to get some corrections on the way, so please do not forget that. And well, let's actually continue with the 1-hour chart because there's something else that I need to know. I have a third wave target right here, but this will only be valid after we get, to at least the 0.32 support level. And well, it's at the green line. I don't have the price for it on the chart, but it's at about 93.2 cents. And obviously, this is going to have to be changed if we go higher in the first wave move. But if we touch the support zone, like I said, then it's going to stay the exact same. That's the third wave target. Then we'll need a fourth wave move down and a fifth wave move up. And well, I will give you a target for the fifth wave as well, but only after we get the fourth wave move down. And well, as you can see, I mean, right now that would put us at least at the 1.618 resistance level of the fourth wave move down right here, which is the target for the fifth wave up. And I mean, things are still looking good, but things are a bit boring because there's not much going on. The market is just waiting for, Bitcoin dominance to break down. And until that happens, I mean, we still need to form 5 waves up. And right now, like I said, if you don't know what we're doing over here, we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup that we need to complete. Then we need an ABC down, and then we could finally start the third wave of the third wave of the third wave. Now, my target for the main third wave of the third wave is at $3.50, and I told you this, but until we complete 5 waves up and until we get an ABC down, this cannot start. But once we get the 5 wave up and the ABC down, then we could finally start this, and during this time, Bitcoin dominance has to break down. And speaking of Bitcoin dominance, it looks like it's gonna start breaking down very, very soon. It actually found support at the bull market support band. However, as you can see, we did not get above the previous high right here, which is a good sign. And this could usually, turn into a much bigger A, B, C structure. I am aware of the fact that, the C wave, I mean, it cannot really work like this. However, it's Bitcoin dominance we are talking about. And here, I mean, it happened as well. You could say that this was some kind of A, B, C. So maybe this is what we're doing right now. Even if we do not go down in this exact moment, it does not mean that Bitcoin dominance will not break down. As you know, Bitcoin dominance always drops every single cycle. So if we do it right now, or if we do it in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 5 5 weeks or 60 weeks, well, not 60 weeks, but if we, do it next month or in July or so, it's still gonna be fine. Of course, we're gonna be a bit later, but that's okay as long as we actually start breaking down. And well, going back to the Cardano chart, in case you have no idea what we're doing over here, we are still in a 1-2-1-2 setup right here, which by the way is the exact same pattern that we had in the previous cycle down here when Cardano was, at pretty much bear market lows. It was the exact 1-2-1-2 setup that we're in right now. And we're waiting for higher prices, but like I told you, we still need to get 5 waves up before that. We are also waiting for a cross on the bull market support band. This is going to be very important, and well, by the looks of it, it's going to take a bit longer than I was expecting, so maybe another week or so, maybe 2 weeks. And why is the cross on the bull market support band important? Because if you look right here and even right here, when we had a cross on the bull market support band and when the green line went above the red line, that's when we, had big pumps. For example, here we went from about 23 cents all the way up to like 80 cents. And here we went from 27 cents all the way up to like $1.30. And I mean, it's the exact same pattern every single time. It even happened in the previous cycle over here. After we had a cross, we went from, let's see, about 4 cents or so to about 7 cents. Now, of course, the pump actually got stopped because of the pandemic drop, but you could say that maybe it would have continued going up if it weren't for this right here. And if that's the case, the price would have gone from like 4 cents over here to about 17 cents. So yeah, each time we get a cross, the market goes up, but so far, I mean, we have not had a cross, so that's what we're waiting for. Now, I also want to talk about the weekly chart for a second. As you can see right here on the RSI, we are actually bouncing off the moving average, which is a good sign, but please do not forget, we did not quite get to the moving average, for example, like we did over here. So there is a chance that we actually, drop again just so we can get to the moving average, and then we finally bounce off of it like we did in November. Now, of course, it does not have to happen exactly like that, and I can show you an example. I mean, here, for example, we got above the moving average, we broke below it, and somehow we still managed to get back above it, and that gave us this nice pump. So that's what we're waiting for right now. Usually when we get above the moving average on the weekly chart, that is a sign that the market is about to start going up again. And well, that can even say that, maybe the low is already in. Now, obviously, I'm not expecting the price to go back to 50 cents. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. And I don't think we're going to get another low, but you have to be prepared for anything. And in case that happens, it's still going to be good because that's going to give us a faster cross on the bull market support band. So I'm not saying that it will happen, but if it does happen, it's still going to be okay. Now, I also want to mention the monthly chart, not the 3-month chart, the monthly chart right here. As you can see, we are, above the moving average, and I've been talking about this for many, many months, but I told you that if we do not stay above the moving average on the monthly chart, it could be a very bad sign. And well, we stayed above it. Right now we are bouncing off of it, which means that we are still waiting for the move that we had over here. As you can see here, we did the exact same thing. And by the way, we did the exact same thing when we were in the exact same 1-2-1-2 setup at the exact same time of the 1-2-1-2 setup over here. And we bounced off of it. Then for the next 2 months or so, we just went up. We did not really go up that much. I mean, yes, we did get above the first wave highs right here, but the price was not really going crazy. And after about 2 months of just going up, that's when we had this move right here, which put us from 17.5 cents all the way up to like $3.10. And I talked about this move, I think about 2 days ago, and I talked about how important Bitcoin dominance is in order for this to happen. And I told you that this move only happened when Bitcoin dominance stopped. And I think I said that it only happened when Bitcoin dominance dropped from about 73% all the way down to like 39%. So this is what we're waiting for right now. We are waiting for Bitcoin dominance to top. And people seem to forget this, and I'm going to mention it again in case you have no idea what I'm saying. But back here in, well, what was this? December of 2020, Cardano was at about 16 cents when Bitcoin dominance stopped, and when Bitcoin dominance was at 73%. And then after it went to about 39% in the next couple of months, Cardano went from 16 cents all the way up to like $3.10, and people seem to forget about this. Right now, we are at about 82 cents, and Bitcoin dominance is at 65%, very close to where it was over here when back then Cardano was only 16 cents. And imagine what's going to happen right now when Bitcoin dominance does this, like it did over here, for example. And imagine what's going to happen when, Cardano starts going up like it did over here. I think getting between $5 to $8 is extremely realistic, but it will only happen when Bitcoin dominance breaks down. So if it doesn't break down right now, Cardano will just go sideways. And well, it has been about, 2 months, let's say, of just going up, which is good. We are in an uptrend. However, this is not enough, obviously. And please do not forget, I mean, yes, we are going sideways right now. We have been going sideways for about 3 months, but that's exactly what was happening over here as well. We went sideways last year in August, September, and October, and then we went up, finally in November. And I mean, that's what we're waiting for. Maybe June is actually going to be a very bullish month. I know I said that Cardano will most likely get to its all-time highs by the end of the second week of June. And I'm going to keep that prediction. I still think it's possible, but it's only possible if Bitcoin dominance actually starts breaking down by that point. And if it doesn't, it's okay as long as Bitcoin, does not get its summer drop by the second week of June. So it could actually continue going up until like July, and then we get the summer drop. But based on what happened in the previous 3 cycles, the summer drop usually starts by the second week of June. Now, of course, the 3 cycles that we had so far, they are not enough. We don't have enough data to confirm that in this cycle we get the exact same thing. So please be aware of that. We're only using what happened in the previous 3 cycles to get an idea of what could happen right now. But, it's not guaranteed that we will do the exact same thing. I mean, if we continue following the pattern that Bitcoin has been following this entire cycle, maybe we'll just continue going up until October because, well, we just bottomed over here, and each time we had a bottom on the Bitcoin chart, after that it went up for about 6 months before getting a correction. And this bottom was in April, meaning that we could actually continue going up for like 6 months before we get the 4th wave move down. And let's say we get it in like September or October, and then by November we get another high, which is going to be the 5th wave up, and that puts us above $200,000. That is my prediction. Now, my prediction for Bitcoin has always been $255,000, so I'm going to keep that as my main prediction. And please keep in mind, on the weekly RSI, we are approaching this trend line, so if we get rejected here, it could be a bad sign, or maybe we get rejected here, and if we do get to these RSI levels, I think Bitcoin will be at least like $130,000 or $140,000, and once we get there, we could get rejected. That could be a good reason to start the summer drop. Then we start the summer drop, and then we get above the moving average, well, not the moving average, but the trend line on the RSI, and Bitcoin just goes higher and higher and higher, and well, the rest will be history. But yeah, it's the exact same pattern that we've had, in the previous couple of cycles, and we are still waiting for Bitcoin dominance to break down. We are waiting for the cross on the bull market support band, and until that happens, things could be boring, but don't worry. I think everybody that is watching these videos right now is still early, and obviously I'm expecting a lot of people to join the crypto market once this move actually starts. I mean, back here in 2021, people only bought crypto when it was already up. Nobody bought down here or down here, and I mean, in this cycle there are barely any people who bought Cardano here or even here. Now, I know some people bought, and those people are probably watching these videos and they are probably wondering why Cardano is not doing anything. But please keep in mind, that's exactly what the people who bought right here, for example, in the previous cycle, were thinking as well. And they were wondering if Cardano will actually get to its previous all-time highs, anymore, because, well, it went from like $1.30 all the way down to like 3 cents, so it looked dead. But if you actually believed in it back then, you would have made a lot of money, obviously, and right now it looks to be the exact same thing. So I am aware of the fact that a lot of people already invested money, but please do not forget, I mean, what's happening right now, and the volume, the 24-hour volume that we have right now is nowhere near close to being as high as it was during this period. So obviously people are buying, but there are not, that many buyers, because the people who actually buy crypto are not there yet. The people who start buying crypto are the people who, usually get in at about $3 or $4. And I think that's going to happen in this cycle. So I think people are going to be buying at like $5. And then when we go down, they are going to start calling Cardano a dead coin. But the people who bought down here and, or maybe down here or even down here, are going to sell their coins to the people who will buy up here. And obviously, I mean, in each cycle, we need to have losers and winners. And I think the people who got in this area will most likely be the winners, you know, if they actually end up selling and if they do not get too greedy. And the people who get in the cycle later, like they did over here, are going to end up being the losers. And well, obviously, it's not good to be the loser, but sometimes you can learn from it. And well, I mean, that's all you need to know. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates for only like $5 a month. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.